Good afternoon, everybody. It is just after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, April 30th, 2026. Welcome to Scouching Live. I am the host of the show, Mr. Will Scouch. Welcome to the program. Obviously, a few things off the top. Number one, I apologize for being a little bit late. We had a bit of a crazy tech nonsense thing earlier this afternoon that needed to be dealt with, and I was also on the bike, and one thing led to another, and we're a half hour late, so too bad. Deal with it. But anyway, it's it's a good day. Nice and gloomy. We've got a frost warning down here in southern Ontario. Just when you think you're out of the woods, here we are. New scouting reports have dropped. We've got what have we got going on here? Oliver Suvanto was today. All kinds of good stuff. What was yesterday? I don't even know. I probably should know what's coming out on my own channel. I feel like I should know. Yeah, so Suvanto was today. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. What else we got? Albert Schmitz is scheduled for tomorrow. Adam Anderson was yesterday, I think. Keaton Verhoff is recent. Who else? Elton Hermansen has been a recent drop. JP Hurlburt a recent drop. And we've got, for subscribers to scouching.ca, we've got 3 that are currently not available to the public at all or scheduled that you can go watch. To tease them out, we got Viggo Bjork in there and a guy that, nobody's heard of, but I kind of like him. So you could check that out. And there's another one that's really, really fun. But anywho, we're having fun. We're in full swing. It's the home stretch. The NHL draft lottery is next week. And unfortunately, I am not going to be doing a show from here for that. I'm looking at my calendar. But that's because, in case you haven't seen the news, I am, thanks to Puck Preps, I am going down to Madison, Wisconsin on Sunday. And I am going to be on the broadcast for the USHL Phase 2 draft on Wednesday. Wednesday? Oh my God, I am so out of it today. Yeah, Tuesday. It's on the 5th. It's on the 5th. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. That's going to be a lot of fun. The Phase 2, if you don't know, Puck Preps is sending a team of people who definitely watch a lot more of the really younger players in the U.S. We're doing the Phase 1 draft coverage. I'm not going to be a part of that, but you got to watch it anyway. I'm going to force you to watch it anyway, or else, And Phase 1 is like the really young players, so you're going to see like 2010s, I believe, are the ones that are going to be picked. And then Phase 2 is pretty much everybody else. So we might see some 07s, 08s, 09s, all kind of stuff. And a lot of Europeans. So that's kind of why I'm going to be there on day 2, is like the older guys that have kind of come through. I've seen a lot of the NTDP this year. Sometimes NTDP guys are getting drafted, and when they can't play for the NTDP anymore but don't want to go to college, or a lot of Europeans are going to be drafted, so I'll be there for that. And so, yeah, I'm going to make it a fun time. I, obviously am going to put on my best behavior, on my best analytical hat, and it's a small step, but it's a good one. I'm super excited. I'm really thankful for the opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get down there, or over there, I should say. It's more like due west from me. And it's going to be fun. I've been to Madison, Wisconsin before, actually. When I went on a road trip around the U.S. in 2010, and somehow ended up in Madison, Wisconsin on my way home, and so that was a good time. But yeah, so we're going to the USHL draft, and it's gonna be weird, man. We're trying to figure out kind of a general gist of who might be going, and we're doing our best. We're hard at work trying to keep up with this stuff. So the data tracking and everything has been very slow because I'm doing a lot of video work, and now over the last few days I've been really preparing for the USHL draft. But yeah, luckily there was actual news for me to follow through on. There was actual news for me to follow through on after the show on Monday night. I think it was dropped on Tuesday, so yeah, it's going to be exciting, though. It's a fun time. It's a really great opportunity for the whole team, and the guys I'm going with are going to be a lot of fun, and so they're bringing me for the screen experience and the camera comfort, so to speak. I've done. Have I done? I mean, I've done my own things like this before, but not for the USHL. So it's a great opportunity. We're a lot of fun. And if you look at the press release, you can get doxxed. You can dox me. If you look at the press release, the pseudonym has been dropped officially because I am going not as a representative of Scouching Enterprises, so to speak, but I will be there on behalf of Puck Preps. And if you want to see me wearing a tie, look no further, man. I'm gonna be in a tie and a jacket and a suit, and well, not a suit, but jacket and tie, and most of the way to a suit, I suppose. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm really thankful we're able to do it. So, been hard at work watching a lot of Minnesota high school hockey over the last few days. So I guess that sort of ties in. I watched Ryan Suter's kid play for Edina High School. He's off to the under-17 NTDP next year, and he is quite good. But he's not obviously going to be in the USHL draft because, well, I think they can draft him, but the NTDP is going to get him. So I guess it's like if you want his rights for a future year, you can do that. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I honestly I kind of like the uncertainty of Phase 2. I think it's going to be very fun to sort of be on your toes like that and trying to keep up with everything that's going on and the names flying off. Like, there are guys that go in that draft that are NAL players, like NAHL, some Wisconsin high school, Minnesota high school, NCDC sometimes. It's all over the place. And so 18U AAA, sometimes even 16U AAA. I think there's been a few guys drafted out of there, so it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for that, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure that everybody has fun, but I'm at least gonna have some fun. So it's gonna be good. All right, let's see what we got. Okay. And if you're new also, because I think we've had some new viewers over the last week or two, a lot of confused people being like, what is happening here? What is this? You can find, it's NHL draft focused, but generally welcome to the hockey show on the internet, in the strange corner of the internet. I aspire to be the Eric Wareheim of hockey analysis, if that makes sense. I strive to be the Eric Andre, the Tim Robinson, if you will, of hockey analysis. I don't know. All right. I wanted to thank you for the advice you gave me Monday. I released your first ever video. Nice. Congrats. Nicholas Aram Olsen yesterday. I'll check it out. I'm not gonna we should do a live reaction like a real Twitch channel, put up your video and just spend half an hour ripping it apart and discombobulating it and interpreting everything in the most clickbaity negative way imaginable. Do you want me to do that? Because we could do that. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that, but I will check it out. I'm assuming it's on the channel that is linked to your username, but yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm sure I'm glad it's doing well. I look forward to you getting your silver play button in 3 months. It's gonna be a good moment. What's the future look like with the USHL with more US players going back to the CHL? Well, it's interesting. I think it's too early to know, because one thing that the US has an abundance of that Canada we do, but it's not the same, I don't think. And this is anecdotal. This is just my life experience talking. I'm not counting out the USHL at all, because Americans have money, and Americans love to spend money, and Americans are very prideful. So I get the feeling that there are people in the United States who will not be very happy if the United States Junior Hockey League, the premier junior hockey league in the US, starts to fall behind and bleed talent and go back to the age where, like back in the days when the NTDP was playing in the NAL and the USHL was just kind of like some place that guys go before they want to go to college and not the most high quality league in the world. Like, I don't think they're going to take that laying down. And in the CHL, like, I think players also will realize that sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think that the CHL is a great place to play. There are definitely teams that are really good at what they do, really well constructed, really just great developmental environments. I know for a fact that there are some really, really good ones out there. And so, and there's a lot of CHL teams that are facing an influx of money from new ownerships or sponsors or whatever, and it's revolutionizing their capabilities as an organization. So a lot of Americans are probably going to look at those types of teams and go, yes, I'd rather play there than like Omaha, Nebraska, right? Like, all due respect, I like Omaha. I've been there. It's a nice place. But if a player has the choice between like the Moncton Wildcats or the Omaha Lancers, I get the feeling that they're more likely going to want to go to Moncton, right? But does that mean that there's like Warren Buffett, who lives in Omaha, could buy the Lancers and probably turn them into a juggernaut like overnight, right? Because you just, that's an extreme example, but I get the feeling that that once this sort of thing starts to happen, there will be opportunities for an intrepid investor or an intrepid business person who really likes the sport and USA Hockey and everything, starts to turn things around and try to compete a little bit more with the CHL. It just, because like Canada, there's 60 plus different programs you can choose from or that will want you one way or the other. And it's a great place to play, but it is also leaving your country. It is leaving, you might be from some suburb in Massachusetts and you go and your lifestyle changes overnight. From that to, I'm off to a place in Quebec or Cape Breton. Cape Breton is beautiful. It is a beautiful place, but it's not like a Boston suburb. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big life change for a kid. So I think it's going to also depend on the players, right? Like, and word travels. Is the experience of U.S. players going to the CHL in this environment net positive for most of them? If so, then the USHL does, I think, have a long-term problem. But if there are guys that are going up there and going like, I don't know, I kind of like the USHL, like the smaller leagues, and there's less travel and it's more sort of concentrated, and I get to be in the U.S. where I'm more comfortable, then maybe you see a bit of a rebound back the other direction. I don't know. I just think it's too early to tell. But as things stand, the resource balance is definitely tipped in Canada's favor, right? Like CHL teams, I think I saw a report today that the Owen Sound Attack are going up for sale, and they're looking for like a minimum of $20 million for that organization. And if you know anything about the OHL, like Owen Sound has been a bit of a rough organization. I don't mean like personal, I mean like success-wise. They've been pretty middling for a very long time, for a while, I should say. And so if that's like what a smaller sort of market, smaller enterprise is costing you at the OHL level, then you kind of get a gauge of like, okay, whoever's buying in at that point will be very, very, very wealthy and want to put a lot into that. But if you're an American, like $20 million Canadian, you could save a bunch of money if you live in Chicago and you're some hotshot $100 million worth investor. And you're like, you know what? Like, a really good, maybe I could turn the Chicago Steel into a team that is like, not that it isn't, but a truly dominant U.S. hockey program, and give them all the resources they need to make it happen. And it's in Chicago. Like, what player would be like, I would not want to play in Chicago, right? I love that city. I think it's a great place. And if you can attract players, then you can attract players. And worst case, and if it goes really, really well and the USHL continues to just fall behind, who knows? Maybe the OHL will just be like, you want to come play. You're in Chicago, whatever. It's basically right next to us, and there are teams in the US already that you can play against. So there's that. So I think, I don't know, it's a very long answer to a very short question, but I think there's a lot of moving parts. And again, like this is again me talking, but watching a lot of all of these leagues this year, the USHL, CHL, all three of those. I think if I'm an agent, like I am also the CHL is definitely a more prestigious place. There's going to be more eyeballs on you. There's going to be more attention paid to you. But I think it's better for the player to, like, the USHL feels like a faster and more physical environment now than the CHL, where the CHL is a little more skill forward and a lot more sort of just pure confidence forward and offensive. And it's just a different environment. So for the US players, like, if I am advising them, I feel like there's an appeal to the USHL. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that a bunch of good scoring USHL players that went to the CHL have completely exploded offensively this year and become, like, even last year, right? Like, Ilya Protas was under a point a game in the USHL, goes to Windsor and is immediately one of the leading scorers in the league. And Adam Banach has been arguably the OHL's best player this year, in my opinion. So I think he's a really, really intriguing. I think it's a really intriguing situation that I don't think we're anywhere close to done. The other thing too, and I'll move on after this. The other thing is Canadian schools are trying their best to create a more competitive environment outside of the CHL, I think. You know, like Upper Canada College has been working really hard to attract some guys and prevent them from the CHL or attract them away from it. I know there are rinks being built in Toronto on these campuses, and so I get the feeling that we're going to see a lot of shifting and a lot more like St. Andrews prep school type of situations in Toronto, at least, where teams are kind of more localized. And honestly, that seems like a pretty attractive situation. You get to go to like a historic Toronto school, go to school, get an education, play hockey, and you don't have to leave the GTA. And if those high schools all have resources, trust me, they do. You know, you don't pay $50,000 in tuition across like 1,500 students and not have some level of resources. You know, that's like having thousands upon it's pretty wild out there. So we'll see. I think it's too early to tell, but I think the USHL might do one of these, right? Like, it takes a step down and then it sort of figures itself out as time goes on. I don't know. I mean, I looked today. I think it's only half now. It's only half of the CHL playoffs conference finals right now are on track to be 5 games or less. So, I mean, we're down to the final 4 in these leagues, and outside of 3 of the 6 series, 2 of them are over. I think both Ontario series are 3-1. And I think that there was one sweep in the WHL, and the other one is at 2-2, something like that. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it's too early to tell. And there you go. USHL management and scouts have jumped to the CHL. Yeah, I mean, right, that's the thing, right? Like, the CHL right now has resources. They have the advantage, and they have the narrative advantage too, right? So, yeah, I we'll see what happens. It's you know, things ebb and flow, you know? No USHL team has ever spent money. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. What do you think about the Cato Rourke debacle? Oh boy. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, but I mean, Hockey Canada being political about their decisions is nothing new. I mean, that's also not unique to them. It's a thing we're seeing all over the place. Where, you know, look, I have only ever seen him play like a couple of times at the OHL Cup. I can't say I'm an expert on whether or not he knows, but shout out to Puck Preps. They seem pretty convinced that he should have been given the status and that this is probably not a great thing for him. But who knows? I mean, I also it's really tricky too, right? Like, Oshawa is a pretty good spot for him to be. I would say, like, they're one of the teams I think that has a pretty good setup going, and I think they're a team that you know, they were bad this year, but like, I don't think that's like a historical trend for them. So I don't think it's like he'd be going to a program that would like destroy his confidence or destroy his abilities or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, he wouldn't be the first good player they haven't given that status to. But I mean, look, I mean, he now has every right to go to the NTDP, right? Like, I'm sure, I think he's eligible, and if he chose to do so, I'm sure they would take him. So, like, it might be a situation where, he is, like, he's from Texas, and he is an American. So there is a part of me that wonders if he does just cut and run, to whoever will take him. Because, like, having seen him play a little bit, I go, well, there's no point in him playing AAA hockey again. Like, there's just no point. So the job now is kind of like, where are you going to go that will give you that opportunity? And we shall see. We shall see. It's a tricky spot, though. Like, it kind of takes away a really, really good opportunity for him. And, like, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen tremendous amounts of him, but I think if the OHL Cup is where a lot of guys are getting drafted out of, or like the main event that a lot of people are paying attention to, I mean, it's pretty hard to ignore. It's pretty hard to ignore that he looked like one of the best players on the ice, if not the best. And so, if you see that performance and don't give him the opportunity to be put in a group with those players for a draft class, then if it's political, then you're opening yourself up to, I mean, losing a marketable player. And maybe they just think he's not ready, you know? Maybe they just think he's not ready. I don't know. I know there's a lot more to the process, too, that isn't just like, are they good at hockey, right? Like, it's like can they handle, like, double, like, he's 15 years old. Can he handle a 68-game schedule when he played 32 this year, right? Or, well, a little more with the OHL Cup. But, like, can he handle the rigors of, like, the training environment? Does he, like, there's a whole process behind it that is not just, are they good? And so, if they don't, and yeah, like, if they don't give it to you, like, maybe they just go, we're doing this for his benefit, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know the facts that's going on there. I don't work for Hockey Canada. I don't know. But I am always on the side of, like, you know, don't really attribute to, like, malice or incompetence, like, things that kind of could also make sense, especially when you're dealing with, like, teenagers and, like, teenage athletes. It's very complicated. Like, who knows? Maybe his parents were like, we're not comfortable with our kid billeting with, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Growing up is hard, man. Growing up is hard, especially when you're Kate O'Rourke and an elite athlete. Speaking of Americans in Quebec, what's a possible development path in NHL world for Tommy Blale? He's blown away expectations. I mean, it's very strange. Apparently he's not going to college next year. That's what I've been told, is that he's going back to Moncton as an 07. I don't agree with that decision. I think that kid needs to be tested, because he's not being really tested this year at all. But I have been very impressed as well with him. He's a guy who, you know, I'll tell you this. I've said this before about him. I've said this before about him. I wasn't a huge fan of him, and I still am, like, a little skeptical because, again, like, my problems with him are pretty key areas for defensemen to, like, be good at and you know, in order to find success in the NHL. Like, he's got, I think, some pretty glaring weaknesses that are problematic. But, like, you can't argue with his ability to grab the puck, run it up the ice, weave through everybody, and make a play. And that's fine and dandy. And I think the big turning point for me this year was doing a lot of Tynan and Lawrence viewing and spotting Cole Hudson, like, a ton. And going, all right, I remember feeling similar feelings about Cole Hudson that I feel about Tommy Blale in terms of the ups and the downs in his game, with regards to just how ruthless of an attacker Cole Hudson was and how much sort of deception and sneaky skill there was in his game. And ripping up the half wall, making plays up the boards and all that stuff. Like, his offensive game seems like a more projectable version of like Carson Carroll's offensive game to me. But the defensive game is not on Carroll's level. And I've look, people have also reached out to me and been like, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong on the defensive play. And then I go and watch him and I go, okay, well then why is he losing this battle? Why is he losing this on the rush? Why is play going through him so often at the defensive blue line? And why is he facing a ridiculous amount of scoring chances in his own end and like then just transporting the puck and getting it out of his own end? No problem, right? Like, he's spending a lot of time in the defensive end for a team that is as good as Moncton, and they're getting shelled a lot. But they make up for it with the offense. So is that something that you can hang on to and bet on long term? I don't know the answer to that with Blale, but that's why he's like a later first round pick to me. Like, he's kind of a very high ceiling, low floor offensive bet. And his best moments are really impressive. And the other thing too this year, or at least in most draft classes, like, my top 20 is just generally guys where it's like indisputable that like I could see them in the NHL, guys like that, right? Where it's like, yeah, I feel like they could be needle movers in the NHL doing some kind of job, right? Whereas beyond that point, like, generally it's just, who are the biggest great swings that I could take on players that are wherever they are, just take big swings on high upside and who knows where they go. Just big exciting players and swings and all that stuff. And I had Blale in my second round for the longest time. And then I watched a few more games of him and I'm like, okay, he at least makes me go, oh wow, that was really impressive, more often than like 10 or 12 of the guys ranked ahead of him. Like, those guys do not do that, but they do fine overall gameplay, right? Like, it's fine. So for that, it's like, okay, well, at least I should probably knock him ahead of those guys, because I'd rather hope for that ceiling on him, because if you can do that, then great. If you can do those wow level plays, then great. So it just kind of changed the logic for me, where it's like, all right, yeah, I think there's risk, and yeah, I might be a little bit doubtful of the long-term sort of likelihood of being as good as he's been in the queue. But to me, like, I've been talking a lot about his situation and himself, but you asked about like a development path. I mean, if he ends up going to Michigan State, which is where he's currently committed, then that's arguably one of the best environments to play. Like, clearly Michigan State, like, they don't really have a defenseman that's kind of like him, I don't think. So I think he'd be a fine addition to that roster. But again, like, going back to Moncton next year, I mean, he's going to score a ridiculous amount next season, especially if they get like a Denvoyer back, which maybe they will. Maybe he goes to college. I don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, Blale, I think, if he were a middle pair power play quarterbacking, I'm trying to think of an NHL player kind of like that. Like, if he's your next Sean Dursey, like, I think he's doing just fine. You know what I mean? And maybe one more season in Quebec long term won't do any harm, but I don't think it's going to improve the areas that I think are questionable for him, and I think it's only going to just reinforce the fun factor in his game, and that's great. But we'll see. Do you think Maxim Sokolovsky goes in the first? Okay, so Denvoyer, yeah, no college for Denvoyer. I forgot he signed an ELC. Sokolov, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else to sugarcoat it. I have not liked Sokolovsky this year. I just he's big. And honestly, like, this might be a stupid take in retrospect and a hot take, but if you're gonna draft a giant, I would almost rather have Karmanov. Like I think Karmanov plays things safer and and at least has like the game stays ahead of him a lot more. Sokolovsky just takes on risk a lot of the time and chases physical play. He chases hits. He chases the big boy, big moment, and it burns him a lot. And I've heard people talking about like the skill level that he's got and the offensive potential. I just don't see that at all. I don't know. I think he's just a really big player who can throw huge hits, and I've seen a bunch of them this year. I've tracked a few games of him, and overall, I just go, yeah, no, maybe I'm wrong. It's like Daxton Rudolph. Like, if you like him, I don't understand it, but like, go for it. Let's see where the chips fall. But it's not my jam. If I were building an NHL team, I don't think I would draft a player like that in the first round, right? Maybe someone else would, and maybe it could work. Maybe someone else has a different idea of development and NHL role and, what their NHL team should look like at the end of the day. But for me, in my world, I am not super interested in Sokolovsky, but we'll see. What is Utah missing in their prospect pool? Do you think they'll draft this year to fill a missing piece, or just drafting size no matter what? Well, I mean, they don't always draft for size, but they do have, I believe, let me check my patented drafted prospect tracker here. There, available to all second tier and up scouching subscribers. They have the biggest. Yeah, they have the. Oh my god, they have the biggest prospect pipeline in the league by 0.2 of a centimeter on average over the Ottawa centimeters. On the Ottawa centimeters. Oh boy, poor Ottawa. Yeah, they're 0.2 ahead. So they are huge. And when I look at Utah's prospect pipeline here, I mean, you've got some good players on the way, right? Daniil Boot has already cracked the roster here and there, but you got Tijik Inla on the way, who I think should have no problem slotting his way into the NHL. Desnoyers, I mean, I've been sort of down on him over the last couple of years, but I still think he could be a very productive winger, and depends on the situation you put him in. Simashev I love. I can't get enough of watching Dmitry Simashev, and I think he's going to be a great part of that roster. Like, it's just to me, it's like the Detroit Red Wings kind of, where the Wings over the years, like, everyone got really upset at me when I looked at the Red Wings and I was like, I don't know if they actually have one of the best pipelines in the league, but it's not because they haven't drafted good players. It's like they've drafted really, really good players at the very top end, sort of, kind of, but then every other pick, like outside of the first round, it weighs everything down. Like, it pulls everything back. And no matter how much I massage the data to make it look good, it's still behind a lot of other teams, because also those adjustments have to factor in other teams that haven't drafted as much but have more concentrated solid talent, right? Like, if anything, the weird thing about how team scouting has gone is that my team is, we don't have necessarily like the top end of top end players, but the floor is really high. Like, the standard deviation around my average score in my model is one of the lowest in the league. The only one lower is Toronto, but Toronto is and Tampa. Toronto and Tampa, but Toronto is sixth last in my model, and I am at 15th. So I might not have the like elite level guys, but the floor is there. Whereas when you look at like Utah, the floor. Oh, actually, I was looking at the wrong column. Oh boy. But I am still pretty low. Let's see. 19th in the league in standard deviation, so it's not as bad. I was looking at average league strength. What was I doing? I lost track. But the point I'm trying to make, you asked about what Utah's missing in their pool, and I got off topic here. I guess the point I'm trying to make is like Utah's drafted a ton, and on paper it's not looking like a whole lot of them are likely to work out. So in a way, they kind of need everything. Like, they've got some good scoring wingers. I think Gabe Smith, after seeing him a bit with Moncton this year, like, maybe he could be your fourth line center. Cole Baudouin projects as a physical middle six, bottom six guy, maybe. But other than that, like, I don't know. So what do they do? Yeah, I mean, I would target just upside because they don't seem to have a whole lot of that floating around. I mean, that's where I would go, is just you're drafting best player available. Like, I mean, the other thing too is, like, if I'm Utah, I mean, how many picks do they have this year? If I'm Utah, I also think about, yeah, you've got cap space and you've got more draft picks. Like, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you've got 7 draft picks this year, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, and you've got 10 picks in 2027, 2 in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I mean, like, there's ingredients there that you could move your pick and get a good player that helps your team out now. Like, I don't know if Utah should be in the business of continuing to draft more right now. Like, I mean, I've been watching that series. That series, by the way, has been awesome. Vegas, Utah has been amazing. If you're not watching, I mean, I've been staying up late and it's been screwing with my sleep schedule pretty bad, but man, that's been a great series. Like, Utah is no joke, and Utah, I think, is a move or two away from being really good. And I think that if you are in their position, then I think you've got a lot of picks that you can move, a lot of prospects you can move. Like, you don't, I think Seattle drafts a little better, but you don't want to end up Seattle. You know what I mean? Where in your system, you just have so many solid players and you never did anything with them in order to make a move and make your team better now. And now you're kind of like, well, everything's fine, but we're not great and we're not bad, and we're kind of floating around the middle of the league. So if I'm Utah, I see what the trade market is like for what they need on the team now. But if not, I think they just need firepower. Like, I look up and down this list of players, and Iginla is a really great scorer. Desnoyers is a great playmaker. But other than that, it's just a lot of good physical guys with physical tools, and like, you're hoping on development potential, but I don't know. Let's see. I did do a team scouting for Utah. Let's see. Who's on it? Let's see how they're doing. Lane Hudson, James Haggins, Thomas Galvis, Luca Cagnoni, LJ Mooney, Matvey Michkov, Seamus Casey, Herman Truff. Who else is on here? Oliver Moore, Cameron Schmidt, Clark Caswell, Teddy Stiga, Berkeley Catton, Ole Josephson, who I've really liked with North Dakota this year. Shane Wright is on there. Who else? Brad Lambert, Logan Stankoven is on there. Okay, so this is a pretty good team that they could have built. Unfortunately, it was just not meant to be. Wow. I didn't notice that, but this is what I mean, though. Like, a team can draft pretty well, but, like, it depends on who you leave off the board. And the only one there where I'm going, and that would have been very bad, is Shane Wright over Logan Cooley. But I learned a lesson there of trust your gut. Worried about them making trades? Well, I mean, I would say you paid a lot for Sergachev, but Sergachev's pretty good. He's been pretty good for them. At least he looks pretty good in the playoff games I've seen. We'll see what happens. But look, I mean, I've been critical of Utah's drafting in the past, and it's, in retrospect, to me, kind of funny to reflect on. But I don't know. If I were building the team, they would be smaller, but there would be a lot of players in the NHL who are doing quite well. And I feel pretty good about that. Are you pressing the red or blue button? Today, the blue button got pressed for the light. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but since Canada got eliminated again in the quarterfinals of an international hockey tournament involving youth players, the light can't be red today. I looked longingly at my Hockey Canada Scouch jersey that I wear sometimes when Canada's playing, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. It's the loss is still too fresh. It's too bad. Kieran Walton's also on that team. Oh, and Jaden Perron is also on that team, scouting team. I'm sorry. That team would be so sick to watch. Like, oh my God. You don't like James Haggins? Well, here comes Berkeley Catton. Oh, you don't like Berkeley Catton? Here comes LJ Mooney. Oh, you don't like LJ Mooney? Well, here comes Lane Hudson. Oh, you don't like that? Well, here comes Oliver Moore. Or, you don't like, Dylan Duke is going to run through you to get to the puck. Oh, you don't like that guy? Well, Logan Stankhoven's a better version of him, you know? Wow. Now I'm getting upset. What could have been? What could have been? But yeah, I after the Canada loss, I don't think I can press the red button today. The blue one got pressed. The blue is on the body as well. We got the LL Bean thrift shop thick, I don't know what material you would call this, shirt on, and the blue long sleeved Mark's Work Warehouse t-shirt for that I got for $15 on sale. Should I do a wardrobe tour so you can see all the Costco sweatpants and all the Costco sweatpants that I have, and the Mark's Work Warehouse t-shirts? And when I don't go to the mall often. I actually have to go to the mall today and get passport photos taken, but I don't go to the mall very often. But when I do, I go check out the t-shirt section at Mark's, because when they have good, I am a Marxist who believes in Mark's t-shirts. If I'm spending my money, I am a Marxist when it comes to t-shirts. You go to Mark's, you get a pile of t-shirts for, like, they do deals where you buy like 6 and you get like 20% off or something. Sometimes. This is what happened the last time. And they're actually really nice, by the way. They're actually really, really nice. So I hold my nose and do it. Yeah, Mark's is great, man. It's a great place. Honestly, I don't like going to the mall, but like going to Mark's is actually kind of sick, you know? Not a lot of stores are like fun to be in and explore, but Mark's is one of them. Mountain Equipment Co-op is another one. I guess they want to be called MEC now. It's like there's an American equivalent. REI, I guess, I think is the American equivalent, but like MEC rocks. That's a fun one. It's just your wallet like starts to melt when you walk in, you know? It just dissipates to like hide from the idea of you spending money. But yeah, I mean, Mark's is a great place to be. I'm really happy to be the Marxist propagandist of hockey YouTube. Also, yeah, shout out Latvia. I agree. Latvia upsetting the US, baby. Yeah. I mean, that game was wild. Hey, I've been saying his name all year. Patrick Plumans, man. That kid is a pretty decent goaltender. I thought he played extremely well in that one. Obviously, you kind of have to if you're going to beat the States. And he had some tough chances to stop. So great game from him and a great game from the Latvians. They just shut them down completely. They played the Latvian tortoise. Are there turtles in Latvia? There must be. There's water in Latvia, and where there's water, there's got to be turtles, right? They wouldn't have tortoises. It's not dry enough in Latvia, I don't think, for tortoises. But turtles, they've got to have turtles. And they got to know they have turtles because they play like turtles in hockey. So, and they're pretty good at it. Really frustrating team to watch or play against, I'm assuming. But huge wins at the under-18s in the quarterfinals, by the way. Like, for anyone who doesn't watch, I mean, this year, you know, Canada lost to Slovakia, and that meant they played Sweden in the quarterfinals instead of Denmark. And Canada lost to Sweden, and they did not look like a team that lost because they got goalied. That team was not great that game, and the Swedes were dialed, which you cannot say the same for during the round robin. They were dialed. You know, I mean, Canada wasn't incredible, but Sweden also just played very, very, very good hockey, and it was just too much. But yeah, Latvia beating the States. I think I tweeted it, but I think it's the biggest upset that I could find since 2015, and that wasn't even that big, but it was Switzerland beating Russia in the quarterfinals. Like the year Austin Matthews was in it, and the year Ilya Samsonov was the top goaltender in the tournament. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Carter Mayer's World Junior performance. He's not my favorite 2027 NTDP guy. Like I think Jamie Glantz has looked really good. Sammy Nelson has looked really good. Mayer's a really good, smart playmaker from what I gathered in my notes. Like sees the ice really well. And I thought this at the under 17s as well when I watched him there. Like I don't know about the sort of speed of his game right now and the sort of energy in his game right now, but he makes great reads and just tactically seems very beyond his years. And so maybe there's something there. And I saw a bit of that going on in this tournament, but I didn't notice him as like a huge needle mover for that team. But maybe I also haven't gone back and watched guys in great detail. I've been watching games live and trying to take notes, which I hate doing. I don't like it. You asked about the U18s early. I didn't see that. Was it when you were in the shorts? No. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make. No, I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God, my brain is melting today. Carter Mayer, right? Yeah, we'll see where it goes next year. I thought he was fine, especially for a 16-year-old playing in, or well, I guess he's 17 now, but a guy for next year's draft playing, like I thought he was fine. But of the other guys, I think I liked a couple of them a little bit more. Convince me that Ivan Fomin isn't another Artyom Manukyan. I know he's fun, but does he realistically have higher upside than the Ruck twins? Look, maybe. But also Artyom Manukyan like was injured to hell pretty much immediately after getting drafted. And I went look. I don't what can you why do you believe that there's like with the Ruck twins, I don't know what the upside potential is with them. Like Liam, I think the smarts and the playmaking will take him a ways. And he can absolutely hammer the puck. Like, to me, it's a question of, like, what does one bring to the game and what do the others bring to the game, right? When I watch players, it's like, what am I seeing them do? And how many times am I checking a box of, like, okay, I like seeing what I'm seeing out of this? Like, I look at Ivan Fomin and especially the second KHL game that he played this year, like he did not look out of place in the KHL whatsoever. Like he was zipping and zooming and setting up plays and chaining together scoring chances and just go, like constantly. I don't see that type of a player in either of the Rucks. I see guys that play on an extremely skilled team that is significantly better than almost everybody else in the entire league. And they are very good cogs in a very well-oiled machine. And I just don't think that their style of play translates super well. Like, if Andrew Basha never came back to the WHL and the Rucks stayed at a point a game all year long, I don't think anybody cares, right? And I think that adding an Andrew Basha to the equation, it's pretty obvious to me how a guy like that could almost improve their scoring potential by 60%, right? I think that with Ivan Fomin, like, it's crazy. I know it's nuts, and he's never going to play in the NHL because no one would ever do it. But, like, I would not be surprised if you brought him to a camp in the summer after, and he'd blow your mind. Just the energy he's got and the skill level and the physical energy he plays with. I don't see that with maybe Marcus, but, like, I still just don't see it with those two. Very smart players, especially Liam. Really, really smart. But I don't think they look as good if you put them in the KHL today or next year as Ivan Fomin did in limited time. I can't believe they didn't play him more in Vladivostok, to be honest with you. I don't know what they were thinking, leaving him in the MHL, scoring a gajillion points this year. Like, I don't understand what the logic is there. But having seen more of him this year, like, I don't know. The other thing too is the opportunity cost, right? Personally, I see them. I personally don't think there's a ton there with the Rucks that everybody's talking about, but they're going to be gone in the first round. So, like, even if Ivan Fomin is worse than them, and I'm wrong, and he's like 85% of the player, and you can get him at 224th overall. And I don't know. Like, I still feel like the rucks in the first round it's a very risky bet on smarts and skill development, and maybe it'll work. I can't say it won't, right? Like, everybody loves to clown on draft picks day one. Everybody loves to call people out for making mistakes day one, but you don't know. You don't know the direction everybody's going to go. There's way too much going on that you don't know. You can make your best guess, your educated guess. You don't know. And yeah, so with Fomin, like, I've gone on long enough, and like I'm not drafting him anywhere close to the top of the draft, right? I'm giving him he's a flyer to me. He just hasn't been on a big enough stage where I'm confident enough to be like, well, I have him at 60, so I would take him in the second round. No, I don't. I wouldn't do that. I'd be trading future considerations for the last pick in the draft, picking him, bringing him to a camp pretty much immediately, and just seeing what he can do. It's a 7th round pick. Who cares, right? What's the worst that could happen? And so I think he's just so much fun to watch. Like, he brings so much joy to the sport that you just want to give him an opportunity to do something, because Amur Khabarovsk is not doing it for him this year. I still can't believe he only played like 2 games for them. But maybe next year will be different. Who knows? But I've been keeping a close eye on him, and I still love him, and I get better feelings watching him than I do watching a lot of the guys that score a lot in the Canadian Hockey League this year. And maybe I'm missing, maybe I'm wrong. One pair of players, the Twins will get every opportunity that Fomin will not, right? So yeah. And I think in terms of upside, like, I've been calling him the Russian Johnny Gaudreau a little bit. Like, like, he is kind of like that. Like, unbelievable energy, unbelievable speed, very, very productive at the junior level, and evasive and relentless. Like, just relentless. I don't know. It's obviously a big, you know, that's a big ticket thing to compare him to. But like, in terms of just the profile, there's echoes. I love him. He's so much fun to watch, but he'll never play. But that's not my job. My job is not to go who will play in the NHL. My job is to go who are the good hockey players. Seems like the quality of play gap between the high end of the NCAA and AHL is getting a bunch smaller. Is that me imagining things? I don't think you're imagining things at all. I look, the numbers, I fundamentally cannot believe people are not doing the math in their heads on this. The NCAA has gotten a massive influx of CHL players. Like, I think it's in the hundreds of players who otherwise wouldn't be eligible. And the CHL, for everything I've said about it that's critical, I still think it's a good spot to be, and especially certain organizations are definitely great spots to be. You know, good players still come from the CHL. It's not a death zone. But a lot of the good ones left to go to college, right? When they got the opportunity to do so. Some of the best ones left to go to college as well. And a lot of really elite level 17-year-olds are in the NCAA. Like, some of the best young players in the world are NCAA athletes now, and they're 17. I mean, yeah, I think it is getting close, right? Like, you've got the AHL is fine and dandy. Like, it's a good spot to be. It's a good place to cut your teeth. It's all good and everything, but the physicality and the speed of the NCAA just, I think, took a jump this year. Like, I think it took a jump, and I think the Canadian Hockey League took a jump backwards in terms of just overall pace of play, overall speed of the game, and I think that's a big problem. Like, the NHL doesn't slow down very often, you know? And I think the NCAA is, like, I almost think that you have to look at the NCAA through the lens of, like, a European top league now. Like, I look at a guy who's a half a point a game I look at a guy who's like half a point a game in the NCAA at 17 or something, and I go, well, what if he did this playing in like Germany or Switzerland or something? Because like those leagues are different to the NCAA, but like they are extremely competitive, and like those players are very, very good. And the energy and the speed in those games is really, really fast. And if anything, the NCAA is more physical. The ice is smaller as well than a lot of leagues in Europe. I think that it's a very, very impressive environment for a young player to be in now. I watched a lot of the NCAA tournament. I watched every Frozen Four game and the final game, and I don't know. I'd want my kid being there. I'd want my kid playing NCAA hockey as soon as possible, man, because that rocks. It is a great, like, I don't know. I'm a believer in challenging yourself. I'm a believer in taking the hard road. Look at what I'm doing for a living. Like, this is my job. I grind every month selling data on draft prospects for hockey. It's not a lucrative market, but you do it because you want to. I do it because I'm challenging myself. I'm pushing myself. Didn't the NCAA team struggle at the Spengler? Did they? I thought they won. I think they went to the final. Yeah, they won. They lost in the final. They did not struggle at all, man. Aiden Fink led the whole tournament in scoring. No, they went to the final, my friend. Yeah, so like I don't know. I think it is an extremely competitive environment, an extremely strong floor of talent now, especially in certain conferences. Like, I think there are haves and have-nots in NCAA hockey for sure, but I still believe that long-term, things will change. Like, I get it. If you're a 17-year-old or 16-year-old in the CHL and you're getting courted by every hockey program in America, and there are big programs like Penn State or Michigan State or Michigan or Wisconsin or whatever, and they're offering you pay packages to like do the NIL thing. It's enticing, but I think at some point those teams are going to get overzealous with offering spots to players, and they're going to lose them. And someone like an Ohio State or Quinnipiac or, you know, these programs that have histories as well, you know, they might step up and be like, well, yeah, you're not going to get you might not be the Michigan State second pair defenseman when you've got 3 first-round picks in the NHL playing ahead of you. Like, that's not going to happen. So we'll play you 20 minutes a night, right? Like, if I'm an agent or an advisor, I'd rather have my kid playing a bunch of minutes than be like, well, maybe we'll give you a job next year on our team, but like we might have to push you back a year because we're just too good, you know? And I feel like there's going to be this like balancing act that develops over the next few years of like kids are getting offers from these really prestigious schools, but their agent's job is almost going to be kind of like, well, what does that team look like when this kid is ready to go to college, right? Are they going to have an opportunity that I think is good for my client? Or am I just taking this because of the money and like putting them in a situation where they get a phone call and they're like, yeah, we're not ready for you to be in college. Can you just keep playing in Brampton for another year and dominate, and who knows where it'll go? Like, I don't know. Or you get a phone call from a school that's like, no, we'll put you in the NCAA instead, and we'll go for it, and we'll give you the time because we have an opportunity for you. Because there are more schools in America that have a lot of money. Yeah, Potter. Yeah, I think Potter's a great example. I personally feel like Potter should have stayed at ASU. I know they didn't have the best year. I know they didn't have the best year, but he was a huge part of keeping them out of the basement. I mean, I think he's going to score a lot more with Michigan State. I think he's going to obviously be a premier player for them, but I would have much rather seen him just keep developing with ASU, and it seemed like it was a good fit structurally for him, and like the way that team kind of plays seemed like a good fit, but it just wasn't. I don't know, it just wasn't meant to be. So I don't know, I don't really agree with it, but I'm not his agent, I'm not his parent, I don't know him personally. It's his decision, and it's not like I don't think he'll get buried in Michigan State. And I get the feeling too that Calgary is probably also involved in this, going like, you know, Calgary's probably looking at it like they probably did their due diligence and understand that MSU is going to give him a good role, and they do have more resources than ASU. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a fine thing for Calgary to just be like, all right, he can go there for a year and probably be really, really good there, and we'll go from there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Personally, I don't agree with it, but I don't see it as like a huge problem to freak out about. Any thoughts on Avery Hayes? I am very happy he is where he is. I've really liked Hayes since his days with the Bulldogs. I mean, I didn't see an NHL player there, but like a good AHLer, I thought like, sure, I would. I when it did not surprise me at all that Kyle Dubas had him on his radar and ended up in Wilkes-Barre and was doing well there. And he's, like his run in the NHL has been good. So yeah, I mean, look, it's good for him. It's a pretty, he's a good one. How high would you take Galvis? Well, I mean, Team Scouching took him 2 years ago. No, I mean, realistically speaking, I probably would take Galvis in the middle rounds. Like if it's past the third round, I would really think about it. There's guys ahead of him that I probably would jump at that are younger in the second, certainly the first round. Like, I mean, I love Galvis. I think he's been very, 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 very good this year. I hope he gets picked, but to me, he'd be more of like if it's past the top 70 picks or something, and I don't know. But even then, like, there are guys ahead of him on my list that I go, well, what's like Wiggo Sorensen going to look like in 2 years? Because he's looked really good at the under 18s. Or what does Verdi Svensk look like in 2 years? Because he's been extremely impressive, and you could get him instead of Galvis, right? And I'd rather have him than Galvis. Or I don't know. But I mean, like, yeah, fifth round, something like that. If he's still there, then yeah, I could see someone pulling the trigger on him. And at that point, who knows? But yeah, he's neat. How would you compare him to other under 6 foot defensemen this year? Well, let's see who even is part of that group. Villeneuve base is, I guess, counted there. He's 5'11". Should I put the hockey puck on my head for this to discern the difference between 5'11" and 6 feet? Now I'm big enough to be drafted. I mean, naturally I am 6 feet in real world, but now I'm pretending I'm 5'11" as I use my new headphones as a puck stand. This is big enough now. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm Xavier Villeneuve. I'm a player worth drafting. I'm Xavier Villeneuve. I'm a player worth drafting, right? We got that out of the way? All right. Yeah, Lynn is an interesting one. I think Lynn is a very risky pick. I think Lynn doesn't have the shiftiness and like the pure high-end skill level right now that Galvis does, but he certainly has the confidence and the offensive vision that Galvis does. If anything, it's more ruthless as a playmaker. Who else is considered there? Not Liskey. I mean, Villeneuve is just incredible. I don't know. I don't have that many defensemen that size ranked, honestly. I have Braden Thompson on my list. I love him. Rocky Langvard is another one, a re-entry who I see as a bit of a similar trajectory as Galvis, honestly. Like, I've watched a bunch of his time with the SHL team in Leksand, and I think he's in the perfect spot next year to play in Hockey Allsvenskan, and I think he's going to play a ton and be a useful player for them. But I've really liked him. But there's not a whole lot of defensemen this year that are that size. Let's see. I can just remove all the big boys here. Big. Too big. Okay, now we're talking. Position defenseman. All right. Yeah, so the only ones I have really ranked are Villeneuve, Lynn, Galvis, Soderberg, Thompson, Langvard. Musa Hackert is listed at 5'11", but he's not getting really drafted. Axel Elofsson might be like a little bit of a worse skating Thomas Galvis, and that to me makes it a non-option. I think Elofsson has been both impressive and extremely Axel Elofsson in the under 18s this year. Bodie Leyland, I mean, I've seen a bunch of them, and I don't know if I buy it in terms of the way he plays. Like, I think his defensive game is a big problem, and he's very, very active on the power play, and a puck rushing guy that I just don't know if it'll work. Jonas Wu is a ton of fun to watch, that's for sure. I don't know if it'll work, but he's certainly very confident and lots of fun to watch. Same goes for Luka Radivojevich. Like a lot of these guys, like the smaller guys, Max Latikainen, he can skate okay, and that's fun. Yeah, a lot of these smaller guys, like it's more about like the floor of expectations is really, really, really high, and rightfully so. There's a couple that I'm also looking at that I kind of have liked as well. That I'm not going to draft, but like Stevie Grumley and Jude Bray are two guys from Sherwood Park that I would probably keep an eye on in college. John Alex Banks, I've liked him as well. Same thing with Carter Murphy. Like those smaller guys are guys that I'd watch in college. But yeah, I mean, Galvis, I think, is the shiftier, like high pace, energy offensive defenseman. Like just very, very creative and I think a very good example of a modern offensive defenseman. While a lot of those other guys, the floor may not just be high enough to be warranting a good pick. I saw some chats from the stream or from the shorts stream here. So let's take a look at here and then we'll catch up. We've got, where did we stop here? All right, we stopped there. Okay. Porygon. All right. Remember the best Pokemon, Porygon. I'll remember that. Who's the player the Sharks would backflip if they make it to 9, and who do you think it'll be alongside Dickinson, Celine, Wallenius, Polkamp, Gaglione, plus vet additions to win a cup one day? Well, I don't know. Look, Sharks fans are doing exactly... Well, no, they're doing exactly the opposite that Devils fans did when they drafted Nemec. Like, Devils fans were really, really unhappy with me by suggesting they should draft like a Logan Cooley, right? And they drafted Simon Nemec because they had too many centers. It seems like a lot of Sharks fans are like, we need a right-hand shot defenseman, so we're going to draft one. And like, I get that to a point, but also like if like a Tynan Lawrence or a Viggo Bjork are there at 9, I think you're going to regret saying no to those guys. I don't know. If you need a right-hand shot defenseman that bad, trade the 9th overall pick or trade Sam Dickinson and get one. You know what I mean? Like, just go get one with the assets you've amassed. Like, if you think the prospects you have are so good, but you need to be better now, then you better get better now. You know. I think their defense group is the big thing that's holding them back from being a real contender in the league, but the guys that are available this year, like there are very good defensemen available, but based on what I've seen, if you, they also could use, I think, even, I don't know, like another center might not make a whole lot of sense, but I personally think that I always just go like having too many good players is not a bad thing, and drafting for need is generally not a good idea, right? Because you're not playing your cards right, you know. It's just, I don't know. It's just not really how I would do it. I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But if it were me, like I'd be pretty flippin' happy if I had like a Lawrence or a Bjork on the board. And if you really want a defenseman, maybe you trade down and get more picks and trade and get a right-hand shot defenseman later, because like Piparinen could be had a lot later and he's pretty good. You know, like Verhoff, even at this point, people are kind of souring on him. Like if you trade down from 9 and snag Verhoff a little later and take the bet on him, like maybe that scratches the itch. But yeah, there are some good players this year that I think will be available really late. I mean, that's not unusual, but you know, it's like think of how happy the Islanders are that they just took Victor Eklund when he should have been gone. When I don't know, teams drafted a center and they were like, we need a center. We're drafting a center, a big, strong center. We're drafting one. And I watch a Victor Eklund and I go, I feel like Victor Eklund would outwork those guys 9 times out of 10. No offense. Anyway. What else do we have here? Goalies you like this year? Yeah, I mean, Fedorov is one that I really like, and Greg, I know you do too, because you messaged me about him. I like Rybkin, Yegor Rybkin, the Russian guy. He's very, very big and also quite athletic and quite good. Tobias Trabel also is good. I think he's been quite good this year. Roberto Henriquez, the goaltender in Green Bay, I've watched a bit of him lately, and he's been very good. Same with William Lassell. I mean, the goalies that I really like are 6 feet tall, right? Fedorov, Lassell, Henriquez, Went in Tri-City, Yermolenko in Niagara. So those are the guys that are probably going to be available later. But like Borichev, I also like Sklenichka. I think it's a pretty good year for goaltending. Like all of the top at least 9 goaltenders I've seen enough of to go, yeah, I like these guys quite a bit. And the numbers back up a lot of it. Like Roberto Henriquez has been absolutely pummeled all year long and actually has done quite well. I'm looking at the numbers now. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Good times. What do you think of Will Bell's season? Well, I don't think he played all that much, and that's a bit troubling because Notre Dame was not very good. But like I don't think Will Bell is slated for high-end sort of offensive NHL upside, right? Like his job is going to be like down your lineup, move and smash and crush. Yeah, I'm looking at his ice time. Like he's a 4th liner on Notre Dame right now. That's going to change. You got to hope that changes. And I think that he does still have pretty untapped offensive upside, but I'm not expecting him to be, you know, anything outside of a just psychotic bottom end lineup physical nightmare to deal with. Because he certainly can be. He is a very, very, very physical player and pretty good at it when you think about it. But yeah, not a great freshman year. Early career Tom Wilson energy. I mean, I'm thinking more like Will Carrier energy, right? Like I'm thinking more of a, Joel Ward style player or, like one of those types of guys that just kind of runs around like a chicken with his head cut off and blasting everybody and crushing and smashing and, hitting everything that moves and maybe not scoring a ton, but also having hands that are good enough to do some stuff. Because once in a while last year, I remember watching Will Bell going like, whoa, I didn't see you do that very much, so let's do more of that. But that seems to not be happening. Yeah, minimum height, 6'3". Let's go. Who pops up here that makes sense? Probably not a guy that scores a lot. Michael McCarron. You might have your next Michael McCarron on your hands. Your next, I don't know, Dakota Joshua type. Something like that. Yeah, maybe that is, the Tom Wilson arc. Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be good for the brand, Should have kept Doan, Cooley, Gunther, Ginley, Danoye, Keller. I mean, Peterka's been. I've liked Peterka with Utah in the playoffs. But yeah, Doan's been quite good for Buffalo for sure. I don't know. I don't think that's a huge thing that's holding you back from being a better team. King should select Gustafsson at 17, correct? Or give up on scouting forever? I mean, I would take Gustafsson at 17. Sure. Shutdown guy. I think he would fit LA's sort of. If LA is thinking like how LA has developed actually smart defensive players like Matt Roy and Mikey Anderson, like those guys they're not the sexiest players out there, but they get the job done and they're quite good at it and they are efficient defensive defensemen. And I think Gustafsson could be another addition to that. Like, I think he's a really interesting player. He could go a lot of different directions, but he's an interesting one. But yeah, Kings at 17 there. Yeah, I would, unless someone ridiculous is available there, like then I'm not doing it. But yeah, no, if things go the way that I see them, then yeah, Gustafsson at 17 is a good pickup. Can you compare and contrast draft year Xavier Villeneuve with draft year Zellweger? Yeah, I mean, Xavier Villeneuve is like way cockier. He's way flashier and way more like, I think, pure skill, quickness combination. Like, he attacks the middle of the ice with ferocity, and that wasn't really Zellweger's game. Like, Zellweger was more of a tactical passer and more of a perimeter skatey boy. Like, if anything, he kind of reminds me more of Tommy Blale. Like, Blale reminds me more of Zellweger. I think Zellweger's defensive reads and defensive strength was better than Blale, and I think he was younger for the draft class. But Blale has an explosiveness and a confidence in the offensive zone that I think Villeneuve just like kind of just plays more of a rock star style of cowboy hockey, whereas Zellweger was a little more calculated about it. You know, to me, it's like it's like how would you compare and contrast, like, you know, Quinn Hughes to well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an NHL defenseman that Zellweger reminds me of. I don't know. A smaller Shea Theodore or something. I don't know. Like, they're both good offensive defensemen for different reasons. Obviously, Quinn Hughes is one of the greatest in the world, and maybe that's not the best example, but, like, I think Villeneuve could be one of the best in the world if things go right and if he keeps his head on straight, man. Like, I think he's got all the tools in the world to be one of the best in the world offensively as a defenseman. Like, he's just insane. Zellweger, though, like, I think he's a little more well-rounded. And at the time at 17, I mean, I had him like either at 32, 33, something like that. Which in retrospect, I might have had him a little too low, but I don't know. I still think you see some of the question marks that are there. I don't know. I asked about do you think O'Rourke goes to the USHL route now with the CHL rejecting his exceptional status request? I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can. But if he can, I imagine that's where he goes. I don't know. Has a 15-year-old ever played, like a 15-year-old that's turning 16 ever played in the USHL? I'm very curious about that. I need to look. I need to see for myself. Skaters, and we want all time. Let's see. Celebrini was 16. Okay, so in the 90s, there were two 14-year-olds in the USHL. Born in 85, played 1997. That doesn't make sense. That can't be right. A 12-year-old played in the USHL? That's impossible. Okay, this guy 1982. That makes more sense. So a 14-year-old. Okay, so it, I guess, has happened, but that might be an error because their birthdays are not... Yeah, okay. So a whole bunch of under 16 players have played. Okay, so it is possible. The most recent one was... let's see here. Nick Schmaltz in 2011-2012. That makes me think they might have changed the rules. But in 2011-2012, Nick Schmaltz was, 15, turning 16, and he played in the USHL. So it may very well be possible. But I think that the USHL draft is 2010s this year. I should know because I'll be there next week. You know, this is maybe something I should look up right now. For crying out loud. I always mix up on Elite Prospects, all drafts and Draft Center, which I really shouldn't when you think about it, but USHL Futures Draft in 2025, I believe that they were 2009s, right? Thaddeus McMahon was a 2009. So maybe he needs to get... Did a 2010 play in the USHL this year? I guess is the other question I should just be asking. Did anybody born in 2010 play in the USHL? Because if they didn't, it may not be possible. No, nobody that young has played in the USHL. But maybe they'll make an exception. Who knows? Because he'd be pretty marketable. He's pretty good at hockey. Opinions on Maddox Schultz? I think he's very good. Like I've seen him play with Regina quite a bit, and I don't think he's like the Connor Bedard level guy, right? Like I think right now he is looking pretty good, like a really, really skilled and really wicked shooter for his age, and there's lots of good stuff there. But yeah, I also don't have like, I watched him at the U17s and thought he was one of the better players on the Canada team. But yeah, good player though. Have you considered doing a video on a player that you expect to go undrafted because you like him so much? Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of those. One of the last videos I do the last year, and I'm doing it again this year, is like a lineup of like a line 5 players and a goalie of like guys that I like that are underrated and might go undrafted. But the scouting report for, I believe, Tuesday is a player that I think there's a chance to go undrafted, but I like them. Maybe the Canes or Pens would play Fomin in a certain scenario, so I wouldn't say nobody. Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not optimistic. On the Utah talk, I think they're a sleeper for Matt Nyes. I will believe that the Toronto Maple Leafs trade Matt Nyes when it happens. They have the pieces to do it, right? Like I feel like Utah could offer enough where I would say, yeah, like if they offered like Simashev, give me both Simashev and Boot and a pile of picks, and you make it where it's like I cannot say no, and I'm getting like, I think, guys that aren't going to take away too much from what he offers, what Nyes offers. And a guy like Simashev is a massive, massive point of need for the Toronto Maple Leafs as they are today. I could see it, but I would be stunned if the Toronto Maple Leafs traded Matthew Nyes. I would be shocked if they did. And the fans, I think, would be shocked as well. I don't think anybody expects that to be a move that works out in their favor, unless the other team, and it might be Utah. Knowing Utah, they might be a team crazy enough to just go, what do you want for him? We want him so bad, and that contract is so good in our opinion that we will open the wallet with a bunch of the guys that we've drafted, and we'll go where you want to go. And then I would just see how far I could push them. You know what I mean? But we're not privy to those conversations if they've even happened. But I will believe it when I see it, because of all the guys in Toronto, the only one I feel like if I were general manager, I would want to trade the least or less than him is probably Nylander. Like Matthews and Nyes, I would really, really not want to trade. But I guess if you make it worth it enough, then I would do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I think Utah would be able to do it, but I'd make you pay for it. Yeah, Iginla, Keller, Cooley, and Peterka with Gunther. Yeah, exactly. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. Look, maybe you could play this in the you could trick them, because Utah does love their big boys and they love their Matthew Nyes style players. Maybe you could go, you know what? Like, I don't know if Clayton Keller is big enough to like be good in the playoffs. You know, I don't know if this Logan Cooley guy is really as good as you think he is. Maybe it's time to give up. Matthew Nyes might be able to replace him if you think about it. If you squint, you know, if you squint hard enough, whose blob is bigger, Logan Cooley's or Matthew Nyes? Because Nyes, yeah, probably him. And maybe you can extract, you know, like the Quinn Hughes trade, where it's like they basically took all of the not big physical prospects and young players that they had on the roster after removing another one last year in Kuznetsov and trade them for the best version of one of those players that you just traded away in the world. And maybe Utah will just be like, yeah, we fundamentally don't think that we're going to win cups with guys like Keller and Cooley. And then maybe you could convince me, you know what I mean? But something tells me that Utah's not going to do that. Something tells me that's not going to happen. What grade would you give to Cheka as a GM? Okay, well, full disclosure, I have dealt with staffleets in the past. I I did some work with them like years ago, like way back in the day, in the early days of all of this. I interviewed with them, didn't work out, and but I don't know John Chayka personally. I don't know him at all. He was not involved in any of this. I don't have any information at all regarding the Coyotes and his experience there. Obviously, the way that he left, the things that have come out that were reported does not paint him in the best light. But I will say this, right? And this is me as a millennial. He is a millennial too. We're millennial pals. You know, I think we would get along decently well. He and I think if I'm putting myself as a millennial into his mind, if Arizona doesn't even exist anymore. The ownership structure in Arizona clearly hired him to save money. And I think he did pitch them on a good idea of like, well, the only way this team is going to improve is if we blow it up, get a bunch of draft picks, draft a ton of hockey players, and spend like 4 or 5 years just stockpiling and stockpiling and stockpiling. And then as soon as those wheels started to really get into motion, he got fired. And then Bill Armstrong took over, and then all of those draft picks got used, right? And I get the feeling that John Chayka, what makes the most sense to me is that he really did not seem to like the environment he was working in Arizona. Like, the strategy that he was employing, I think made sense, but there were limitations, right? Like, the team itself had limitations. They didn't know where they were going to play in terms of an arena, for crying out loud, right? Like, he had a locker room that actively, it seems, did not enjoy their environment. And that's a really hard problem to fix if you're the general manager, right? Especially when like ownership is not really doing their part, in my opinion, right? They're kind of doing the bare minimum. And you, in a way, are the bare minimum general manager hire. Like, I'm not saying that he was unqualified, but like he was given a gift, right? Like, he was given an opportunity that most other teams wouldn't do because he was probably the cheapest option. But I think pound for pound, they got their money's worth because he sort of set the stage for a lot of this. And I think it's a lot more complicated because, and again, I don't know anybody of you personally, really. I don't think I know any of you personally, except maybe a handful. But if you've ever worked at a job where, yeah, like the job is good, but the company sucks and everything is just not working and the direction is just a big question mark, the urge to push the envelope of like maybe something you might be able to get away with while on the job, it gets a little harder to resist that temptation, I think, when you are actively in a situation that is not good. It was a not good situation for Arizona, and he was kind of in the middle of it. So the idea that it is obviously very unprofessional to like go behind the backs of your contracted employer and try to find a job elsewhere with a better organization or something. But like, people do that. It's not unusual, and people do that a lot more than you might think, and they do that for usually good reason. You know what I mean? So I don't know. In terms of his capabilities, the only thing I ask is that he is not hired to do ownership's bidding, right? And I don't think that you hire a person who founded a sports analytics company to not do that at the job. Like, I get the feeling, and I don't want to talk about the Leafs forever, but like, I get the feeling that in Toronto, Keith Pelly, with the experience he's had with Brad Treliving, clearly does not like how things have gone. And I think rightfully so. And I don't think he's a hockey guy. But what I do think he is he's a business guy. It's pretty obvious. He is a corporate guy. And a good corporation does trust mathematics, and they do trust analytics. An NHL team without an analytics angle, to me, is like a corporate company without a finance division. Like, they don't do their own accounting, right? It's like, how could you possibly know what's going on in your business if you're just kind of going off of vibes? You know what I mean? You have to have a detailed amount of information about your organization. And I feel like Keith Pelly knows that, because most business people kind of do generally, I would hope. And that extends into professional sports. So if you're hiring John Chayka, of all people, after he's been gone, after everything he's been through in his career, both good and bad, you're hiring to be the general manager of the Toronto friggin' Maple Leafs. I don't think John Chayka's taking that job unless he has a level of autonomy. And I don't think Toronto's giving him that job if they didn't like his pitch. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense. And maybe it's another step in the embarrassing cycle for Toronto. I feel like you can't know the answer to that. I think anybody who's out there being like, Toronto's just stupid for hiring John Chayka, they're morons. If anything, I would say that if he plays his cards right and Keith Pelly plays his cards right and the Toronto Maple Leafs are not fundamentally completely shattered and broken and useless, the duo of a Matt Sundin and a John Chayka actually kind of makes a lot of sense in my mind. Like, you have John Chayka, who runs the show from behind the scenes. He helps the team sort of become more Pittsburgh Penguins-like, efficient, thinking outside the box, using mathematics to your advantage, all of that stuff that he clearly has a capability of doing. Phoenix did have a ridiculous amount of draft picks that he amassed, and he did so in very creative ways. And I think that there was a level of like intelligence to his strategy there. And you have Matt Sundin, and I mentioned this on the show. It's like if Keith Pelly had called me, I'd be like, I am not good to have as the face that is the boss over the players. Like, I can't sit, like, I reasonably would be honestly a little terrified of my year-end meetings with Auston Matthews having any level of daring ability to question anything he ever does, because I'm me. Whereas if you have Matt Sundin there, I can at least trust that he has the ear of the players and the players have his ear. And as long as I foster a relationship where they can trust me with the things that Matt's knows, then you're going to be okay, you would think. So like, if that's the angle that they're taking, is like, obviously there's a problem with the team itself, so let's put Matt Sundin in the room and get a good gauge of this, because clearly he loves Toronto. There's lots to like. He's been here forever, all that stuff, and he has ties to the team, right? He wants that team to be good, so he's gonna do fine in that job, right? Be that conduit between the team and management. And you plop John Chayka in the job as management to go back to that sort of Dubas style of analytics, focusing on the basics and the fundamentals, and rejuvenating the team in some way. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that ends up. I don't think anybody does. But to me, that kind of makes sense, right? I'd rather that than just like Doug Armstrong and just give him the job because he was the Olympics guy, right? Like, I feel like that's the case. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. I'm open to it, but and I just don't know how it would make sense any other way of like, John Chayka is, I don't think John Chayka is making the pitch in a way where it's going to come off like, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, all I will do is cut costs, right? I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. And I feel like John Chayka in Arizona was like, yeah, you can pay me less than all other general managers. I don't care. It's what, $250,000 a year? $250,000 a year. Cool. When most general managers are making quadruple that, I don't care. I'll take that. I can be a general manager at 26. Great. That's great for me. Good, cool. But then it's like, oh, they also are spending quarters on the dollar on literally everything else on the team. And now I'm in an environment where I'm dealing with a team that is actively trying to avoid spending resources. And I'm a part of that. Uh-oh. Whereas now in Toronto, like, yeah, there's cost cutting, but again, I feel like Matt Sundin is going to get on the phone with Keith Pelly and be like, bring back the dad's tour, you idiot. Like, what were you thinking? Like there are so many things that these guys really, really liked that you took away from them, and it wasn't really that big of a deal in terms of cost savings. So bring it back, man. And as long as he's willing to listen to that and like do the things that need to be done, Toronto can afford it. You know what I mean? Do you think with the massive world championships for Stenberg, he could still go first on a non-contending team? Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, it would be most guys go to the world championships and they don't dominate. So if you go and do a really good job at the world championships, then yeah, you're probably going really high. How much importance do we put on the under 18s? I don't really put a whole lot of importance on it, but it is good to AB guys. It is good to sort of look at, I think, players that you've never seen play against each other or countries that have never really encountered one another on a surface like this. And it's really good to see what players can do, right? Like, what does Malte Gustafsson look like in a game against Ryder Cali? What does Keaton Verhoff look like in a game against insert other top level player, right? What does Tynan Lawrence look like when he's not in college hockey and playing junior hockey again, right? And I think you do see a lot of like, okay, I had concerns in this area and it doesn't seem so bad. Or I had a belief that there was something really positive here and I'm seeing problems now here. Yeah, it only matters when Canada wins. That's true too. But in the case of like, it's a little more complicated. Like if a player has a good or bad under 18, I don't really care. But what I do care about is how, when you zoom out and look at multiple players in a system against each other, who presents better, right? Like when Piparinen is on the ice against some other CHL defensemen, for example. I mean, they didn't, who's the guy? How do they interact with one another? Which one looks like the better player? And I think you can sort of massage things a little bit there and look at a bunch of different games in that tournament. And the other thing that's good too is in Canada, at least, you got to look at some guys that you don't like. Ryder Cali, I don't know if he'll ever be on the World Junior team. Maybe he will. I'm not saying he won't, but seeing him in a Hockey Canada jersey at the under 18s and playing a big role for that team and playing a lot of minutes and being given a big job, like, you get to see what he's capable of. He's being given an opportunity. And so in that case, it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't otherwise have gotten this experience. So I'll see what he looks like. And Canada does have that advantage, right? Like JC Lemieux getting a big role in this. I think he's been pretty good, or was pretty good for them as well. And so it gives you a level of confidence of like, okay, against at an international tournament where everybody's trying to beat you and every game matters and yada, yada, yada. Who are the guys that are stepping up? Who are the ones that really show well, even if they don't score, right? And you got to look at some guys that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get to. So it is a valuable thing to have in your hopper. But again, like if you're scouting the under 18s and then just going off of that, then yeah, it's a wild risk. But you could also do a lot worse. Which player should the Canucks target with their picks around the 40 range? Mathis Preston. No, I don't know. I mean, it may very well be Preston. But being realistic, let's say who could even be there? Casey Mutrin. Mutrin would be fun in Vancouver. I think you'd like him. Victor Plante. If you miss Connor Garland, let me tell you about Victor Plante. Maybe like Piparinen slips out of the first round and maybe he could be a good pickup, something like that. If you could pick one player outside the top 5 to have a 1,000-game career, who are you betting on? Lawrence. I mean, I imagine he's not going top 5, but I'd love to see Lawrence. I mean, I'd love to see Mathis Preston play 1,000 games. Like that guy could sell tickets. If things go well for Preston, like he'll sell tickets, man. Like he'll be a bums in seats player. He is exciting to watch and explosive and I think very, 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 very talented with a lot of upside. And he might go second round, like I feel like after the under 18s, he's not going to be a second round pick. I mean, maybe, but he's been pretty darn good.
I feel like there are two things the NCAA will have to reckon with long term: the excessive use of the transfer portal and smaller school teams not attracting major talent and shuttering their programs. Well, I mean, I think with the NCAA, like, those two things are related in a way. Like, the transfer portal does shuttle kids from good schools to, or the big schools, to the smaller ones, right? Like, a lot of the time guys are chasing and going to different, like a better school. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see those smaller schools get more options available to them. Like, I don't know. Look, if I'm a parent and my kid is going to be going to play college hockey in the US, would I rather them go to the best program in the world and maybe not play and maybe get a phone call in a year where they're like, yeah, we're actually not, I don't know, we don't have a spot for your kid anymore. Do you mind waiting a year and coming later? Would you be okay with that? Or would you want, like, Western Michigan? Well, they're also very good, but like Mankato, for example. Like, would you get a phone call from them being like, your kid's going to be in our top 6 day 1 when he's 18. He can come to school, start getting to work. We've had players come out of our program too, and your kid would be a huge, huge ad, and we're going to play them right away. No worries. And you can't get that. You're not guaranteed that opportunity with, like, a Michigan or a Minnesota or whatever, or Denver, right? So it all depends, but I don't know if it'll be like shutting down the programs entirely, because they've been through a lot worse. Like, I think this is a good thing, because it's like you're adding more good players to the system, so you're making it more competitive. So I get the feeling that over time you are going to see, and again, like, all it takes is a graduate from some year to become wealthy and go, I'm an alumni and I love hockey. Maybe I can't own a team, but I will give $1 million a year to Long Island University, for example, because I graduated from there and I love hockey, and now I'm on Wall Street and I take everybody's money and I'm really, really rich. Maybe then at $1 million a year, you could see programs taking a step up. Like, that's all it can take, is just like a person stepping up with money. So who knows? It's still early in the process, but I don't think you're going to be seeing, like, teams closing doors, because teams have been through a lot over the years. Oh, David Phillips showed up with a question about a Russian playing under 18 hockey. He's awesome. Anybody from Chelyabinsk is good in my books, I would say. If you could pick... Oh, no, we did that. Which prospect stock do you think is most inflated by playing with elite teammates versus driving their own line? I mean, I would say the Ruck twins. That's at least the most provable one on paper, is the Ruck twins. I think Klepov also really benefits from the guys he's playing with, like Klepov, Barabanov, and Zhilkin. Zhilkin was outstanding at the under-18s, I thought, and I think that him and Barabanov gave him the perfect opportunity to do what he does. Really well, and he was quite good at it. But I think he was more a function of a good unit rather than the function of, like, a, I don't know, of his own doing, so to speak. I don't know. Would you like him for a development organization like Carolina? I mean, anyone can go to Carolina. Who knows? Could you see them moving up for a Verhoff? Who's them? I don't know who them is. Oh, San Jose. I don't think they'll have to. Seems like people are jumping off that bus. Koblar had 5 points in 4 playoff games. 26 penalty minutes, baby. That sounds about right. Who'd be a ridiculous can't pass on this guy pick at 17, in your opinion? If Lawrence or Stenberg, or if Lawrence or Bjork are there, that's a no-brainer. Lawrence, it'll be possible. I mean, the only ones I would say are, like, there could be 4: Lawrence, Villeneuve, Bjork, and Preston. They'll be there. At least some of them will. Maybe Gustafsson. if things break right, but I don't have as much confidence in that than I do as the other guys. Ceiling and player comp for Dagenet. How confident are you in his floor? Oh, he'll play. Dagenet will play. He's fine. Like Dagenet, I think could be a good complementary physical guy. Like maybe you see a kind of Podkolzin type guy there, maybe. You know? Like, I don't know, these small, like not small, but these faster, sort of more physical wingers that play down your lineup and just crush and have some good skill on top of it. But in terms of like finesse and like an overall impact on the game, they may be a little bit limited. I don't know. Maybe you're hoping for like a Josh Anderson type guy, or I mean, everybody likes Josh Anderson. I'm just looking here. Colton Dock, Podkolzin, yeah, comes to mind. I don't know, something in that range. I don't know. He's fun though. He's fun to watch. Do we as a country appreciate Ernie Clement enough? No, we never will. Yeah, I mean, if you did give Villeneuve the size of Owen Power, he'd go first overall. But if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike, you know? Like, yep. Villeneuve made a backhand pass from his own red line, tape to tape on his teammate's stick for a breakaway and scored. Yeah, fair enough. I've seen that kind of thing happen too. Ryan Ruberek, why is he not higher? I mean, I think that Ruberek is really tricky. I've got another game of his to track once I'm back on the tracking wagon after the USHL draft next week, and after I'm done with some video editing I have to do. But Ruberek, he's just I don't think he has. I think he's one of the few guys I think that looks a little worse this year than he did last year. The hands are good for a guy his size, but I just don't see him engaging himself in the game very often. He's maybe a guy that can make it work just by being passive and smart and moving the puck well and just having good skill and a great shot. Like maybe there's something there. I don't know. But I just don't buy it with him. I haven't seen the energy out of his game that I want. Yeah, big goal scorers, exactly. Like it's just a profile that I don't like and don't see very often working out when you look back on the draft. Like just a big dude who doesn't really use it, kind of has a slower level of play, but can grip it and rip it, you know? I don't know. The data for him is decent. Maybe I'm missing something there. Maybe I'm over concerned. He also hasn't played center this year, I don't think. Like I in the games I've tracked, I don't think he's played center. I might be wrong though, because it has been a while since I've seen him. Yeah, he's played wing every game I've seen. So I don't think that I wouldn't play him as a center either. I don't think I would do that. Yeah, but Engvall like can skate, man. Like Engvall had like speed in his game, and I don't see that really with Ruberek. Like his game is more like, I don't know, just kind of, I don't know. I've just been really underwhelmed with his game in general. Just very inactive, very like frustrating at times. Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember Sean Day? Oh, you're damn right I remember Sean Day, my GOAT. He was the coolest thing in town. O'Rourke would definitely have gone in the OHL draft on Day. Yeah, well, yep, that's true. Oshawa had him at their facility expecting Hockey Canada would approve the request. Yeah, I mean, I could believe it. I would believe it. It's a big decision Hockey Canada made there. Really big decision, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know enough to know how I feel about it. But the Puck Preps guys, who I trust with my life, are pretty surprised. What's the deal with Craig Button lately? Craig Button lately. Guys going crazy, you know? Nah, dude. Craig Button's always been this way. You're just getting older. You're getting older, and you're watching kids play hockey, and you're developing your own takes now, right? I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you're pretty into the U18s. But with Craig Button, like, he hasn't really changed in my opinion over the years. He's, I mean, he definitely seems to be a lot more zealous with his hyping, like player hyping. He seems to be a lot more like media savvy in regards of like he knows what to say to get people talking about players. But I don't think it's too crazy. I love Craig Button, honestly. I think he's great. He's so entertaining. I would love to emulate a little bit of Craig Button if I'm on TV one day, where it's like just like a little unhinged, like a little bit nutty, a little bit crazy with some crazy things to say, but he does not care. He's just throwing it out there, and y'all are along for the ride. Are the U18s getting better or worse? I can't tell. I think they're about the same as they've always been. I mean, losing Russia is bad. Like, Russia without hockey, no Russia in hockey is a much bigger question mark, and it makes everything worse. So like some of the U18 teams this year were just straight up bad, right? Like the Germans, and I really was expecting more out of Norway, and Latvia was they beat the States for sure. That's amazing. But there were a lot of people not totally Craig Button is like a good gremlin. Yeah, he's like the nice gremlin in town. Yeah, exactly. The goblin that actually like gives you gold when you walk into town in an RPG, you know, not the one that's taking everything from you and trying to kill you at every turn. You know, you want the goblins that are telling you how to sneak through the city of goblins, and you know, and I think Craig Button's one of those. Just with hockey instead of, you know, rescuing people from the clutches of demons or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think the U18s are about the same as they have been, except it just sucks that they lose the Russians because they're good. Thoughts on the Survivor episode? Dude, man, I was expecting so much worse from the Mr. Beast thing. I was expecting so much worse from the Mr. Beast crossover, but we got a pretty good episode of television. And the thing is, last week's twist was really bad. I think it needed one little tweak, and it could have been really good, but it was really bad. This week's was really confusing, and I'm a believer that if you take that long to explain something, then you have to rethink it. And I think and also the other thing that drove me nuts about last night's episode, Jeff Probst needs to shut up more. No offense to Jeff. He does a great job generally, but that guy just starts talking about something that nobody cares about. How great the game is, how great Mr. Beast is, how popular he is. Everybody knows. I mean, that was probably part of the agreement. Mr. Beast probably does not make an agreement to appear on anything without them talking about how awesome he is and all the world records he's set and all this and that. That's like a staple of his enterprise, right? So maybe there's nothing that he can do about it, but I don't know. It was really it was a bit annoying. But by and large, though, the episode was really, really good. I love this season. It's been great. If you don't watch Survivor, now is a good season to get involved. It's a lot of people who have come back. This cast also, I love that this cast clearly just does not seem to like each other all that much. Like last night, the whole thing with Devins and being safe and the risk that he took and being right. Everybody was giving him a standing ovation. Everybody was doing this except Joe. Joe, the guy obsessed with honor and obsessed with telling the truth. Bro, you're on Survivor, man. Like, but he hates it. He hates the idea of doing anything but playing Survivor as if it were season 1. And it's crazy. It's hilarious. So for that happening and to not be stoked was really funny. And I didn't even notice that at first. It was really, really funny. But I'm pumped. It's a great season, and I'm so sick and tired of like season after season of everyone like, oh, we love each other so much. Oh, we're just gonna be the best of friends in our Manhattan apartments that we all have because we're gonna, do a bunch of TV spots. And oh, like I want my White. I'm gonna be so nice to Mike White so I can get my White Lotus cameo. And it's like, nah, bro. It's a game, man. Get out there. Start having some real feelings, man. And this season, there's real feelings. That's for sure. Holy. Some of the problems surrounding Chayka's first tenure likely had something to do with youth. Phoenix was such a tire fire, they put their trust on a 26-year-old to manage the team. Well, that's the thing. I mean, again, it's like if I were hired by Keith Pelly to be the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I would do the job for the least amount of money of a GM in the league, but like I would want some real help. Like I would need a group of people around me to like do some translating, and it just did not feel like that was the case. So yeah, it just was a bit of a weird decision. But you know what? Like, I don't know. The Toronto Maple Leafs, for all their warts, are not the Arizona Coyotes, and we'll see what happens. Who's the tall defender with little offensive impact in this year's draft that 15 years ago would have been drafted in the top 10 like Jared Cowan, Eric Goodbranson, or Boris Valabic? Maxim Sokolovsky? Probably, because that guy will abandon his position to go for a gigantic hit and miss like 4 times a game. Yeah, to me, that's like Sokolovsky. There's a guy in Quebec, too. Michael Milosrdny, I think. He's a gigantic kid. And there's the Daniel for Muskegon. All those giant guys are the really sort of physical guys that I think would be the ones that teams would freak out about back in those days. Do you remember Wojtek Wolski? Do I? Oh my God, one of my goats, man. Honestly, like, look. I don't know. The Colorado Avalanche are one of my favorite teams over the course of my entire lifetime, especially once they landed Korea and Solane. It was just, that was the best. It was the greatest. But then, like, you think back to those really good teams, like in the Sakic era and the Patrick Waugh era, and like, yeah, you had some incredible players, Forsberg, Sakic, Waugh. But then you look down the list of guys that are on that team, and it's like, what a totally different group of guys to have that does not really line up with people's thinking. Like Wolski was one of them. Alex Tanguay was another one. Still an Ostlund believer. I will never not be an Ostlund believer. Never, ever, ever. But yeah, Wojtek Wolski, he was great. And it's like, again, like I would just, we look back on so many great teams in history and go, man, when you look at that roster, there was so many skilled players and there was so much speed on those rosters and all that stuff, it's pretty incredible. And then we just always are like, yeah, but you can't have too much skill. You can't be too speedy. You can't have this. You can't have that. It's like we see great teams all the time play like that and be great. So why wouldn't you want to emulate that? Like, why wouldn't you think that that's the way the game needs to be played, right? Like, everybody seems so obsessed with, like, slowing the game down, grinding it down, being a big, insulating, defensive, physical team, and that's how you win championships. And it's like, some of the greatest teams ever assembled, they had a bit of that, yeah, but a lot of their teams were very, very talented offensive teams that were high energy, high speed, and were relentless on multiple lines. And Wolski was a huge part of that, I think. What's up with the new YouTube short streams? I have 2 canvases in my OBS now, so I can have 2 different streams going. And believe it or not, knowing you, Charles, you're going to hate this information because you hate things that are factual, that go against your perceived biases. But YouTube shorts are extremely popular, right? Like, if you look at the number of views on videos, I mean, I don't make a ton of shorts, but like, this was from my old job. But like, when YouTube shorts came along, normal videos were, well, I'll go this way. Normal videos were doing this in terms of views. YouTube shorts, like if they started in the same spot, this did this. YouTube shorts did this. Like, you gotta have YouTube shorts nowadays. People watch them. It's just the way she goes. It's the way it is. And you gotta keep with the times. And there's a lot more discoverability on YouTube shorts. People scrolling by on the toilet or whatever, they're going to go, whoa, look at this guy talking to nobody and with a list of stuff and names everywhere. What is this? And then they go to something else probably. Yeah, Cheka would be the youngest GM still. It's true. Nordmark or Shilov? Nordmark probably, but 2 sides of a similar coin. Is Bjork the next Drouin? Overhyped, undersized winger center? No. I mean, Drouin was like speed skill combo. And Drouin had McKinnon on his team, but Bjork, look, he's a top 6 center for an SHL team that went to the playoffs. That deserves a certain level of hype. He is extraordinarily smart and moves the puck really, really well. And I think he grinds harder than Drouin ever did. I think he is a more devoted off-puck scorer than Drouin. I think his ability to transport the puck is very, very good and could be a lot better in time. I don't know. I don't see them as similar at all. If anything, Preston might be the next Jonathan Drouin. Like, that is the guy that I think might have a similar kind of trajectory if things don't go right. But if it were me, I'd move heaven and earth to make sure they go right. Yes, I'm aware it is 4:30. I do have to get out of here relatively soon, and I really have to go pee. Believe it or not, I do that. How far could you see Villeneuve realistically falling? 40. Dude, I don't know. Like, all it takes is for the league to say no to him once, you know, and he could go 30th. You know what I mean? Remember Caulfield to Messi comparisons? Yes, and he was correct. Hell yeah, man. They hate him. We hate him because he's right. We hate him because he's crazy and right. I love it. I can't get enough of Craig Button. A lot of the stuff he says, I go like, whoa, where is this coming from? And like, sometimes you read his rankings and you're like, all right, bro, you just got home from a tournament and these guys are fresh in your mind and you're blasting them to the top of the list. Okay, like, I get that. Fair enough. But like, but it's still entertaining. I cannot take that away from Craig Button. He is very entertaining and he's a very nice guy too. I met him once and he was really, really nice to me. And I got nothing bad to say about Craig Button. That guy rocks. Even for his craziness. I'm not one to judge either, right? I'm the nut in the glass house on this one. And so I find it entertaining. All right, let's get out of here. Who would win Survivor? AJ, me, or Tony? Oh, probably me. Between the 3 of us, I think I'd go the furthest. I don't know. I feel like AJ... number one, I have bushcraft skills. I can swim decently well. I have decent cardio. That bike does get used. It does get used. I have decent cardio. I don't know if I can say that about the other 2. But what I will say is that AJ's social skills may either help him win the game or he gets voted out first. Depends who he's playing with. Tony could go pretty deep, I think. But I think Tony would go pretty deep and get... Well, you know what? Maybe Tony would beat me because I think I would get called out for being too strategic. And Tony seems like he would get away with just sitting on the beach all day, lying in the sun, and just like letting everyone yap around him. And at the end of the day, he just goes to the one person he's friends with on the beach and goes, "What are we doing tonight, man? I don't care." And they just vote for someone, right? And that might work. He might just sort of hum along the whole way. Whereas me, I'm out there like building relationships and maybe inadvertently double crossing people and like trying to do stuff. And it might just it might hang me at some point, right? Tony, I don't know if he's going to try like at all, but he's going to make it count. You know what I mean? So it might be Tony. Might be. Apparently O-Dog ranted about analytics. You see the O-Dog. I did see that. I mean, it's Jeff O'Neill, man. Number one, he knows what he's doing. He's getting people riled up because it's very easy to do. Like, saying something notably stupid will get you attention from people who are not stupid, right? Like, and inadvertently, that attention from people who are not stupid will then encourage a return and more attention from the stupid people who agree with the original take. And I'm sorry, but being anti-analytics is fundamentally just a stupid thing. Like, there is no other way to cut it. It reeks to me of I didn't study hard enough in school and I don't know how anything works. That's how it reads to me. And with Jeff O'Neill, his job is to rage bait, right? Like he's going to his audience. He knows who his audience is. He knows they're going to follow him. But now what he's doing is he does this, but he's going to the people who are very militant about their opinions, which is generally analytics people, and going, "Hey, you guys are stupid." And like whenever that happens, they all fall for it. Everybody goes, "Whoa, Jeff O'Neill," blah, 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 blah. And then all the people who like Jeff O'Neill come out and they go, "Shut up, lib. Like, go home and go back to your mom's basement with your spreadsheets," right? It just creates this like cycle that gets him attention. Here we are. But I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to say, right? Like, analytics is literally like without any level of like analytical analysis, without the concept of analysis, we're flying by the seat of our pants on like vibes. And I don't know if you know this, but we did that for like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And the more we sort of do like math, and the more we sort of like do the things that math tells us to try, or the more, you know, like the more that good things happen, right? Like once we stopped having to use slide rules in favor of reliable electronic calculators, life got pretty good. But it's like, I don't know. That's not maybe the best example, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, again, it goes back to the thing earlier. What business is going to go, anyone who likes analytics cannot work for this company. We're just not about that. We sell t-shirts. We're not even gonna focus group our t-shirt designs anymore. We're not gonna care what anybody says about our direction. We're just gonna do it because we know how to make a good t-shirt, right? It's like any business person would look at that person and be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, it's like, "Oh, we don't need to track order volumes. We're just gonna sell them, and however many we sell, we'll just ship them, and we'll just keep a supply in the warehouse of t-shirts, and we'll just keep selling them." It's like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, no, you can't just do that and like have a successful business long term. Maybe you can get it going for a little while, but you just sound nuts. So I don't know. He knows what he's doing, but it is also very funny because it's like, it's just an asinine line of thinking to, you know, I mean, again, like, it's also such a funny thing to me. It's so funny. People yelled and screamed and moaned and complained about Kyle Dubas, and finally they got their wish and he got fired and he's gone. He goes to Pittsburgh. What a bunch of losers and nerds. The toughest, I said on the show, toughest environment for a general manager probably was being part of the Penguins when he came. And now they're in the playoffs, right? They got eliminated, but they gave Philly a pretty good run, even though they lost in a pretty quick series. Like, that was a great series. Would anybody have expected that out of Pittsburgh when Kyle Dubas took over a year and a half later or 2 years later? No, I don't think so at all. And now it's like, oh, but that guy that we hired to do all that fancy schmancy analytics bull crap, and now we suck that he leaves and now we suck, and the team he goes to is a playoff team when nobody thought they would be. Analytics is still stupid and I don't want anything to do with it. It's like, you're just asking to be made a fool of, and it's always really funny to me that this happens, right? Like, it's like it happens so much in hockey. People criticize, sometimes rightfully, a thing, and then when the evidence is presented why that thing happens, they think that the evidence to stop that thing from happening is stupid. It's really, really funny to me. It's like, wow, man, like, how does Canada keep losing at the World Juniors every year? How does Canada lose to the Czechs multiple years in a row? Like, none of those guys are going to be in the NHL. How's that even possible? Look at all these first-round picks we have. And then they go, and it's like, if you don't like the leagues where those players come from, especially the defensemen, people go, how could you possibly not like the guys out of the Canadian Hockey League? Like, those guys are elite. Like, they're the best junior leagues in the world. And then the next January, you're like, how did we lose to these guys from the Czech Junior League and the Czech Second Division? Like, how is that even possible? It's like the evidence. It's just like it's right in front of your face, man. Like, just take a breather and like look at what's going on around you. Like, obviously, those are but just think about these things, right? Like, how the Colorado Avalanche are the best 5-on-5 team that we have seen in a long time. How is that possible? Well, when you look up and down that lineup, it's just piled full of most of those players other teams would probably not want to touch, or at least not value in the same way that Colorado does, right? Like, they signed Brent Burns at 40-something years old, right? Like, they're a smart team. They know what they're doing. And Carolina, too. Like, I know people there, and the thing I hear from them the most every year in the summer when I'm talking to them is I still cannot believe that other NHL teams are not just copying exactly what we're doing. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to just copy. I know I need to breathe, but it's just really funny. It is really, really funny that this is a thing that we're still dealing with, but it also works. It works because we live in a world where anti-intellectualism is very attractive to clearly at least like 1 out of every 3 people we share the planet with. You know what I mean? Like, clearly there are large swaths of the population that just go, I don't understand that thing, so I don't like it, and it's stupid and we should never do it. And it's like, no, okay. All right. Instead of going, I don't understand it, but I'll trust the people who do it, they go, I don't like it. It's stupid. I'm voting for the person. I'm going to push for the ideas that actively fight against this, you know? It's like, okay, fair enough, but we're all along for the ride with you. You know, Leaf fans are along for the ride. Were along for the ride with the Brad Treliving show, and now they might be drafting first overall. So I think on that note, we can call it. Again, thanks for joining. This was a lot of fun. I got to go get some passport photos taken, and buy some coffee creamer. So I gotta go. But thanks for joining me today. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back Monday. Oh, no, we won't, because I'll be in Madison, Wisconsin. Again, the USHL draft, I am going to be on for phase 2, which is next Tuesday. It'll be running, I believe it starts at 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. I will Google it yourself if you're interested in watching. But it will be streamed on all of these social media platforms the USHL has. That's what they told us. So if you want to watch, you can tune in. If I can, I might be doing a live stream for the draft lottery while I'm away. I should be able to do one of some kind. I just will have to really test the infrastructure that I have access to wherever I might be. So we'll see. But if I don't see you, then it'll be Thursday afternoon. It'll be a week today, 2 p.m., because I'll be home. And then we can recap everything. And hopefully the draft goes well, because I'm going to have fun, man. I'm going to try to have fun, and obviously, you know, within reason, but I want to be there to have a good time, and I want everyone else to have a good time. You know, we're just having fun. So let's have some fun. And it would be great if you came by and said hello and spammed the chat. Please don't spam the chat with like things about me. Just spam the chat with constructive engagement, not just because I don't want to bring that in to the thing. This is a professional event and I need to be professional, and I think we all need to be professional. I don't want to have to disavow my audience, you know what I mean? So we'll see you then. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in a week, and enjoy. Yeah, may the balls be in your favor. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that just reminded me of one of the funniest stand-up comedy bits I've ever seen. And I don't think anyone will like it. So before I leave, I'm going to find it on my Instagram here. I'm going to turn down my volume. Doesn't it sort your following list by who you followed most recently? Yeah, yelling at the sky against YouTube Shorts. Oh no, it's the opposite direction. All right, well, I can't find it too quickly. Let's see, maybe I can. Because it is really funny. James Warner, that's his name. James Warner Duquette on Instagram. He did a bit about balls that really cracked me up. All right, well, we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you in a week. If you want, I'll see you at the USHL draft on Tuesday. Also watch Phase 1 because Puck Preps is also going to be there. And I won't be involved, but I'm going to be there for moral support, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So we'll see you then, and I'll see you Thursday next week. So be safe, be well, be kind, all the things. Continue playing the games you're enjoying. Enjoy your life. Slay the Spire 2. I know it's getting review bombed, but it's still sick. I don't care what anyone says. It's a great game. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.